Hello everybody, welcome back once again to Dark Souls, Let's Play It. I've skipped a little bit of me walking back from the Moonlight Butterfly because there's nothing really interesting to see in the Darkroot Garden if you've seen it once already. So, instead I'm going to grab this thingy that I never got before, and as soon as I do, a whole bunch of bushmen jump up out of the ground and try and chase after me, which is why I try not to do it right away. Fire off these soul arrows. These guys are easy enough to take out, but I just don't like them getting in the way when I'm trying to run towards the Moonlight Butterfly. So I'm taking them out now instead. I think that should be the last of them. Yes, it is. So I'm going to run back to the bonfire. I've got a good deal of souls on me. I think I can get another 2 levels out of this. So what do I level up here? My first guess is intelligence, because I'm always leveling up intelligence. And oh, no, the first thing I do is use a soul item. I forgot. Got another handful of Oscars on me. Large soul of a nameless soldier gives 1,000 souls. Alright, so let's see. Vitality, endurance, intelligence. Of course I level up intelligence, because I just love having this god complex where all of my spells are super powerful. And endurance. Suppose I could use a bit more of that. Eventually, I want to get my endurance high enough where I can switch out to some more useful defensive stuff. I don't know. I've actually been. This is my second time playing through as a sorcerer, though the first time I only got about halfway, and I made it just past Anne Orlando. And I'm trying to remember what exactly I was wearing there. I remember that a gargoyle helm was involved, but I didn't pick one of those up this time. So I'm going to have to improvise a little bit. I'm just probably going to pick up a few sets, and at one point or another I'm going to go through all of them and see what combination of stuff gets me the best defense. For now, I have places to go. I remember in the last video I told everyone that I was going to go back to the Undead Asylum, but I lied. Instead, there is another place that I want to go. I want to head to the Lower Undead Burg because there's a particular thing there that I can pick up that's going to be very useful to me. Up here we sort of have the entrance to the Darkroot Basin, and once again, we're not going to be going there yet. I'd say give it 2 more videos after this one, and then I'll be heading towards the Darkroot Basin. Because the last thing I want to do, the last thing anyone wants to do, is fight their way through Blighttown. And I want to do that even less as a sorcerer, because Blighttown is just horrible. I want to go the other way, the back way, through the Valley of Drakes, which we can do easily with the Master Key. Like, if we wanted to, we could go right from... We could have done things totally out of order, basically. I'll elaborate more on that in just a second, but first I gotta talk to Andre again.
My, that's a rare ember you have there. I've seen one of those before. It's the ember of a divine blacksmith. Might you consider leaving that with me? I could produce divine weapons with a flame such as that. Well, thanks for that. You've made a fine decision. You soon shall see.
The ember that I just gave him is the Divine Ember. Embers are what let us upgrade our weaponry in different ways, give them different attributes. Divine weapons, they can take out certain enemies that are a bit more of a pain. For now, I can't do any of that, so I'm just upgrading my longsword.
Don't get yourself killed. Neither of us want to see you go hollow.
Divine weapons will be useful at one particular point later in the game, but I don't know if I'm going to forge my own. I could find an occult weapon and just downgrade it a bit, and that would give me a decent divine weapon, I think. I don't know how those things scale, though. Probably with faith. That's something I should probably look up. Anyhow, we've upgraded our longsword a little bit, and we might upgrade it once more before it's over. You see that, in addition to the Titanite shard, I also picked up a smith box for my armor, so now I can do a whole bunch of stuff at the bonfire that I used to need to go to Andre for. I can repair my weapons, I can upgrade my weapons, and I can upgrade my armor. So really the only reason to go to a blacksmith now is to buy things or to have your weapons ascended to something like Divine or Lightning or whatever. Backstab. For now, I'm heading out of here, going back through the undead. No, I'm not. For a while, I was debating which direction I wanted to go to in order to get to where I need to go next. Basically, I need to go back towards the Sorcerer end of the Hellkite Dragon Bridge. And I'm wondering what is the best way to do that. And apparently I decided that I'm going to run through the Undead Parish. Like, I like berserker my way through the Undead Parish, basically. And get to the Sunlight Altar and then try and run across the bridge without getting torched. Not really an easy task, but it's something I think I can pull off in a single-digit number of tries, at least. Gate is open now, so that lets us just run through a bit more directly than we came through the last time. And it would be nice if I could get through here unscathed, but of course I am not that good at the game, as everyone has probably seen by now. I'm taking a fair bit of... jeez. Yeah, I figured like I'm nearly gonna die here, but here's the bonfire right here, and of course just as I get there, it starts going out. But this time I'm smart enough to know why, and so I do not end up being skewered on the end of a hollow soldier's sword. This will take me just a second here. Soul arrow these guys. This guy, I don't know why I didn't just backstab this guy. Could have been a lot easier with only one of them around. In any case, I made it back to the bonfire, so that is one less trip that we have to make later on. Here I'm looking for Sorcerer up there. He will appear there later in the game, but he hasn't yet. So instead, I'm going to soul arrow a few dudes. Oh, that guy has his shield up. I'm going to use more soul arrows than I want. And there we go. We've taken out half the soldiers on the bridge. We can claim a couple of spoils here. Soul of a nameless soldier. Claymore. It's a big old sword that usually requires 2 hands to wield unless you've put stuff into strength, which we clearly have not been doing. Anyway, run as fast as we can, hoping that we are gingerbread men and cannot be caught. And that didn't go well. That was an instant one-shot. Game at some points makes the bridge just like this impassable barrier if the dragon is around. Anyway, he's flying around right now, so this is our best chance to get through here unscathed, relatively so. Pick up my lost power. I don't want to lose all those humanity. And dragon is not being a problem, but I sure am getting shot in the back here. So this could be going a lot better, and I'm starting to think that maybe I should have just gone back to Firelink Shrine and gone forward through the Berg. That might have worked out a bit better, but whatever, I'm here now, and I'm not going to have to make that trek again. If I'm lucky. So we're about to open another shortcut around here that basically lets us cut through most of the Undead Berg. Whee! That was fun. I think that's the longest ladder in the game. That's like a snake eater ladder there. I don't know, I haven't seen any other longer ones. Everything starts turning to elevators eventually. So this is the lower part of the Undead Berg, which you saw earlier from up above. It had that giant flaming cart in it. And over here, whoops, over here we have this gated door and some dudes who want to kill me. Shouldn't be too, of course, gate gets in the way, naturally. Take that guy out. Go through this door, you should recognize the point on the other side. This is the Undead Berg right across the bridge from the bonfire. So now we can much more easily get to the lower Undead Berg from this part of the Undead Berg. That should save us quite a bit of time. Plus it gives us a convenient bonfire to go back to, as opposed to going all the way to the Sunlight Altar and having to cross that dangerous as hell bridge. And I get sliced. But it's okay, because I can use the bonfire. And of course it immediately forces me back up because the guy approaching turns off the bonfire, but I've already sat down by then, so it's okay. Take out this guy. There is another reason I cannot hit this guy. I fire like 3 soul arrows, and none of them hit. Well, whatever, he's dead now. Might as well just sit down at the bonfire again, because that was kind of embarrassing. I can do... jeez. The arrow did not disappear. Even though the guy stopped turning around, the arrow just kept flying at me. Whatever. Backstab this guy. Anyway, there's a reason for us being here besides just using the bonfire. Remember the merchant we went to who sold the residence key? We're gonna get that now. Because once again, the master key does not cover one particular door that's really necessary for us. It's a door that holds a sorcerer who will teach us sorceries so we can sorcerize better. That soul arrow just went nowhere. Take this guy out. Yes, that worked. I can only miss so many times on a video before I have to kill myself. Take out these guys too. These guys used to be a real pain when I first was playing through the game, because I was not a very skilled player and I kept trying to sort of inch forward and try and fight them one at a time, which is always a little bit harder than I expect. But whatever. We found our way back to the merchant and we've got a good number of souls.
Oh, there you are. Still keeping your marbles all together? Then go ahead, don't be a nitwit. Never hurts to splurge when your days are numbered.
Alright, so now we can pick up the residence key, and we also have enough souls that we can grab this bottomless box, which will clean up our inventory a bit.
Oh, thank you very much. Come back soon.
For the longest while, I thought that he was, he's sort of reaching over and petting that bucket next to him. He calls it Yulia, says it's his pet, or his girlfriend or something, I'm not sure. I thought that the bucket was Yulia, but I watched one of Epic Namebro's videos, and it turns out that Yulia is actually a sword that he keeps on him, the Uchigatana. It's a sword that he doesn't sell, but if you feel dastardly enough to kill him, you can get the sword. Anyway, I just did some inventory cleanup that you guys didn't want to see, so I sort of faded it out there. But I got rid of a whole bunch of items that I'm not going to be using so that when I am going normally through my items, I don't have to skip past them over and over. Anyhow, we've gotten our residence key and we've cleaned up our inventory a bit. We need to head back to the lower undead burg so we can just walk through hell, basically. Lower Undead Burg is another one of those places that's was a real pain for me for a while, and it introduces a new enemy that everybody hates. And I'll point those out when oh jeez, I am seriously just the worst player. I don't know how I keep getting myself into these horrible situations, but here I am, triple teamed by these jerks, and I'm nearly dead. I nearly died right here in the Undead Burg, and that would have just been the end of the world. So let's put that embarrassing moment behind us and continue forward. Back through the shortcut here. I don't know if I ever use this again, really. I don't know, this is sort of a self-contained area of the game, the lower burg, the depths, and I don't really go that way to Blighttown, so I don't generally enter this area very much. This is probably one of the only times I'm going to see it. Anyhow, here they come now. One of the worst enemies in the game. The dogs. And I shouldn't have to explain why, because if you've ever played a video game with a dog in it, you know that it's the worst enemy in the game. Dogs are horrible. Dogs are like either number 1 or number 2 on the list of horribly terrifying video game enemies, and the other one on that top 2 list is bees. In fact, the worst thing they could possibly do in Dark Souls is just make a gigantic bee the size of a Capra demon and have it chase after you, and I would just be scared witless. I would just turn around and never enter that area again. So yeah, note to From Software, if you want to freak me out, giant bees. Anyway, I've killed all the dogs in this immediate area, and over here we can finally see the reason why we picked up that residence key.
Somebody! Please let me out of here. Somebody! Anybody! Help me! Unlock the door! Damn, I'm finished. How did this ever happen?
Fine, if you're gonna be all whiny about it, I'll let you out. You better be grateful, though, because I have the master key, and I still spent 1,000 souls on this.
Brilliant. You opened the door for me. Thank you. I'm saved. I thought I might never escape. I am Griggs of Vinheim, a sorcerer of the school. I am much obliged for your assistance. Thanks to you, I may now resume my travels.
And that is why we need the key. That is Griggs of Vinheim. He is, as he said, a sorcerer, and he will teach us a few useful sorceries, but there is one in particular that I really want to get from him. And as you might imagine, it is just a powerful attack, but it's a really handy one, and you'll see what it is. We'll be using it against the next boss. Anyhow, there's these guys here. They're blocking some non-essential humanities, but I like killing them anyway because it's useful. I like getting humanities, and I like exploring the world, at least in some places. Exploring the Darkroot Garden is always a little scary, and I'm on fire now. This guy, oh man, try and fire a soul arrow at him, and just rushes forward, ducks underneath it. They're getting more clever. They're more smarter now. Not smart enough though, because he's dead now. So I've taken care of that side, and there's a few more on this side, but this shouldn't be a problem. Well, they're not even moving. Sometimes these low-level enemies are just easy as pie, and other times they waste me because I'm just not paying enough attention. Not being cautious enough with my soul arrows. I always treat my soul arrows as if I can treat it the same way as a sword. It's just a quick attack, and then I back off, but I keep somehow neglecting that long period of vulnerability that is inherent in the soul arrow, and so I get myself in trouble. And I don't know how many more times it's going to come back to bite me during this LP. I'm taking all bets. Anyhow, this is our introduction to the ninja enemy, or yeah, come on, that's a ninja enemy. How else would you explain it? These are some guys that appear here in the lower Undead Burg, and I don't remember if they appear anywhere else in the game. Just unique to this particular area. They're kind of a pain because they move really fast, and our attacks are kind of slow, but we seem to be doing okay here because one good hit on him will take him out, and 2 bad hits. In one of these doors here, there is a cool thing. Here we go, here's the thing. It's a mail breaker, which I think is just a large sword, and I don't know, I probably will be filing that away. I don't use many of the larger swords, usually. Generally in all games I play, I like to be a bit more speedy with my attacks and with everything in general. So I go for the lighter armor and the lighter weapons, and I don't know, I can't tank. I'm not very good at being a tank, so I don't generally try. So you can tell in this game, I'm not going for the big swords. I'm just upgrading the spells, which are still kind of slow, but I don't know. I can only get so fast with a soul arrow. I guess I can't upgrade the arrow speed. And of course, the heavy soul arrow is not one of my favorite spells, just because it moves so slowly. It's hard to get use out of it except for on a boss. Even soon, we're probably going to be replacing that. Oh god, it's another dog. I think there's 2 more dogs in this area, and they're terrible. They're terrible like all the rest. And I'm sort of running forward. I'm a little bit cautious here, trying to... There we go. I knew there was a second dog around here right before the fog, the white light door fog thing. And okay, that should be all the enemies in this general area. Large Soul of a Lost Undead. Pick that up and... Debating whether or not to use it. Okay, I do. Gonna go ahead and use both of those. So right now, if I wanted to, I could just go up and fight the boss, but that wouldn't be a great idea because I don't want to have to run through this area again. So instead, we're gonna find us another shortcut. So, where is that shortcut? And I keep looking through the doors. I don't realize that I've already looked through a few of these doors because I'm not really paying attention. But that takes care of that area, and instead of going right forward, we are going to take a right and go down some stairs. And I suppose this, like, only half of this area is a shortcut, because you do go down here eventually if you're going through this particular path and not the Valley of Drakes. Take this guy out from afar, because over here is a hidden dude. He will surprise you with his sword-like thingies if you're not paying attention. No, right now our sword isn't too bad. I'm doing about 50 damage per swipe. 3 swipes takes him out. But Once we get to a magic sword, we're going to be much better off. So down here is a dead end and a message that says need locking on. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Pick up a few more souls, use them up, because we're going to be needing souls to buy a particular spell. Oh, man, I'm beautiful. Look at that face. Need locking on still. So up here we come to a room with a long spiral stairway with only the one enemy in it, thankfully. This archer probably could take you by surprise if you're not waiting for him, and if you're going sort of slowly in here. I don't know. I don't think I've ever been hit by him, so he's not really... Oh, of course, I get hit by him right then. Just as I'm talking. I blame the soul arrow. Nothing is my fault. Alright, so we're on the top floor. Those stairs don't go up, so instead we go here, and we find this person. Who's this?
You still have your senses about you. Then why won't you buy some of my moss? I need your souls.
That is one of the more off-putting laughs in the game. Anyway, the one most important thing this lady sells is moss clumps, which will be helpful in a future section, though. Oh, I guess she sells more important things. Transient curses, humanity, and most importantly, a purging stone. Those are kind of hard to find early in the game. They'll be useful if you ever get cursed, which we might be in a second.
Drat, what a humdrum lass you are.
Of course, by in a second, I mean in 2 videos or so. In a future area, there is a high potential for being cursed, and I would not like to be cursed. So we'll have to remember that that person's there, because it's much closer than the one other person in the entire world who sells purging stones, who is Oswald of Korea. And over here you might recognize this waterway now. This is the waterway that links the Firelink Shrine to the Undead Burg, and now it will link the Firelink Shrine directly to the area where the Capra demon is. Kappa demon. I've been hanging around on Twitch.tv too much. And once again, I miss over and over with my soul arrows, and now I'm out, so I need to get on the other side of him so that my sword can actually do something. So, okay, he's down. Take out a few more guys. We're almost back at the bonfire. But bonfire isn't our goal. Our goal is our friend Griggs, who has moved to Firelink Shrine just like everybody else we save. We will be saving a few more dudes in the next couple of areas. Hollow Warrior Helm. Pausing on this Hollow Warrior Helm. What was I doing at the time? Whatever. Moving on. Head back down. I don't know if I'm going to kill the last 2 guys. I probably will, because I could use some souls right now. Because I have a thing to buy. Take him out. Forget about him. Maybe I should have gone back for him. Anyway. Let's go down, and this new character is here. It's our old friend Griggs. What has he got?
Oh, hello. I regret meeting you under such compromising circumstances. At least we both made it back unscathed. Incidentally, would you care to learn any sorceries? You're clearly talented, and besides, I owe you. Of course, we will require some materials, but I'm happy to teach you some elementary spells. Are you interested? Splendid. Very well. I am pleased to have a chance to give something back. Well then, let's get started straight away.
Alright, let's take a look at what this guy has to offer. Soul arrows. What I really have my eye on is that great soul arrow, which of course I don't have the souls to get. There's also a great heavy soul arrow and a magic weapon, which might be useful later. Sorcerer's Catalyst you already have, and a couple of rings that boost your sorceries. Anyhow, I had to do a little bit of grinding, but now I have enough souls to pick up the great soul arrow. And that will be handy. It's much more powerful than the regular soul arrow, but it's just as fast, which is great.
Have you heard of Big Hat Logan? Master Logan is a great sorcerer and my teacher. Both of us came to this land as undead. But one day he departed, leaving only a note. I suppose he wished to keep me out of harm's way. But where does that leave me? I have dedicated myself to sorcery. But Master Logan could find no use for me. All right, that'll do it. That should help you on your journey. May we meet again.
He left you behind and he left a note. That sound weird to anybody else. Oh, dear Griggs, I can no longer live this lie. My heart belongs elsewhere. But, no, we will encounter Big Hat Logan later on, and I think Griggs and Logan will be in the shrine at the same time. But yeah, Logan will teach us some more powerful spells, and he wears a really big hat, which is why they call him Big Hat Logan. So we've got that sorcery under our belts. We've now got 3 soul arrows equipped, all 3 sorceries. We have 4 sorcery slots, so I could equip something else if I had the souls for it, but at this time I do not. And I don't know, the only thing I would probably get right now is magic weapon, which would be useful at this time, but I don't think it's going to be particularly necessary going forward, not before we get past Blighttown, after which point it's going to be a moot point anyway. Anyhow, the lower Undead Burg is pretty close right now, so we're just going to walk right there. I probably could have skipped there, but I don't know, it's a close enough journey that I think it's going to be okay. So, yeah, this is the problem. I've run out of things to talk about. What a great LP this is turning out to be. I will say that I really like the way that all these early areas are interconnected to each other. Just a ladder this way or a waterway that way, and you end up in some other part of the game that used to take you like several hours to get to. And this stops being the case a little bit later on when you get to a bit more disparate areas, which is a little bit of a shame, but right for now, you know, it's very cool to see how everything interacts and interlocks, and it's very clever world design, and I wish we could see more of this in games. One thing that really strikes me about the level design, now that I think about it, is how they expand vertically as well as horizontally. You have one of the reasons that you can get this interconnectedness in Lordran is that they're placing areas on top of other areas as opposed to just wandering this long horizontal plane like in a game like Skyrim. So it's very cool to see that. In fact, if you remember that well that currently is in Firelink Shrine where there's a guy sort of half hanging in it, if you were able to jump down that well and not get damaged, you would end up in Blighttown, which is another bizarre and totally unnecessary way of connecting the game world, but it was really cool to see anyway. They just sort of put a hole in the ground and see where it goes. At least that's how I imagine it. It's like, you know what we need? We just need a hole in the ground, and we'll just see where it goes. It'll be cool. People will jump in and explore. This guy still needs humanity. This guy needs a knight. Nobody seems to be crying tears of pain, so... which is kind of odd since we're about to fight the Capra Demon. The Capra Demon is one of the most annoying fights in the game because there are dogs, and dogs make everything worse in this game. So the absolute first order of business is to kill these dogs. What you want to do is, starting off, you need to run to the right, because running to the left, everyone seems to congregate on the left and you'll get wasted really fast. So if you run a bit to the right and then head upstairs, you will have a better time. You can sort of separate the dogs and the Capra Demon, and then it's easier to take out the dogs by themselves. So once that's taken care of, I just sort of cycle through here, wandering up the stairs and then fall off the stairs and then attack him. It's more important to do that when you are playing a melee character, because your best opportunity to attack the Capra Demon is right after he lands, after falling off the stairs. He takes this nice long pause. But here, you know, he sort of moves slow enough when he attacks that we can just start abusing our great soul arrows. You can see how much damage they're doing. We're sort of laying into the Capra Demon. And there we go. I got him on my first try, which is certainly not what happened when I fought him the first time. Both as a sorcerer and as just a warrior, though the warrior was even worse. It was like 5 different deaths. It was just horrible. I did it. Hey, you know what? We did it too. We're going to lay down a message. We're going to tell the world that we did it. We did it. Alright, so now everybody knows that we did it, and that's important. Wandering around this area here, I feel like at the time I thought that that particular blocked door was connected to another one we saw in the Undead Burg, but I guess it wasn't. Anyway, that's just this small closed off area. And here we are. In another universe, we have been summoned to the world of Spartan Peck 74, and we're going to help him take out the Capra Demon. And since there are multiple enemies in this one, our strategy does change up a little bit. While he fights the Capra Demon, we need to find this other dog and kill it. We need to get rid of the dogs as soon as possible. And so there we go. So, yep, we can divide the enemy's attention if there are more of us, and so one person distracts the Capra Demon and other people kill the dogs. And then once the dogs are gone, we can just lay waste to the Capra Demon because his health is relatively low, compared to other bosses, I guess. Yeah, awesome. I think we got the last hit in there. Victory is achieved, and we get a certain number of souls. We get 3,000 souls, so we got 6,000 total for the Capra Demon, which is less than what the Moonlight Butterfly gave us. But whatever, I'm not complaining. We should have enough souls to go up a level or two now. At least I suspect it's 2 levels. Maybe just the 1. I don't know what my level cap is right now. Anyway, next time, for real, we'll be going back to the Undead Asylum, fighting the creatures that have laid themselves there. See you around.